Please state your name, who you represent. Time is yours.
Thank you, sir. Chairman Vanderwatt and committee, Mike Pohanka, Representative District 26, Jerome, Lincoln, and Blaine counties. I'm here today to, I'd also like to introduce Representative Erin Bingham, District 32. She is also co-sponsoring this bill with me. So I bring before you House Bill 864 regarding certain substances, and mainly it's called Kratom. And so if you were to look at your bill on there, if you go to page 10, lines 27 to 34, those ingredients that I am seeking a Schedule I ban on. ISP is here to testify as far as their lab, that those are the chemicals that they can test on. I first got acquainted with Kratom. This was kind of interesting about 2.5 years ago when fentanyl was banned. And I'm back in my district and I'm visiting with several of, some of the narcotics detectives in my district. And they're telling me, hey, the next problem coming before us is going to be Kratom. And they said it's highly addictive and you're going to see it's going to start taking lives. And boy, was he right. Just prior to session starting, my sheriff from Blaine County, Morgan Ballas, contacted me and said, Mike, we've got a problem with Kratom, and if there's any way you could carry a bill to make it a Schedule I. And so that's one of the promises I made to him, and that's one of the things I ran on was public safety and keeping our citizens in the state of Idaho, my constituents, safe. I've had in the past several weeks emails from parents of loved ones, moms, dads, brothers, sisters, stating, as far as what's happened, that they become highly addictive to it. Some have OD'd on it. I have statements or as far as death certificate that states it's Kratom. I had Jennifer Dunn call me, and then I left a message. I called her back. Her son was a wildland firefighter, was on Kratom and died due to an overdose. Have before me as well autopsy reports talking about the chemical that causes it, probation parole. I also have, which I thought was interesting, and then I'll yield the rest of my time to my co-sponsor, but I thought this was interesting coming from the American Association of Kratom, and they have authorized vendors, and if you go to that, the national, you'll see all the different businesses that carry this product, and I found it rather interesting. I went to the website because I know I see Happy Hippo, which is a local dispensary here in the Valley, and they talk about Kratom. And I find it interesting, they talk about the warning. It says Kratom interacts with the opioid receptors and may be habit-forming and lead to dependence. Misuse may result in opioid-like withdrawal symptoms and other adverse effects. It said that adults only 21 and over should be using this product. The FDA is actively evaluating Kratom and currently recommends against consumption of Kratom due to concerns about the risks, addiction, abuse, and dependency of this product. Some users have reported severe opioid-like withdrawal symptoms following cessation of Kratom use. I thought it was interesting too, under the general product disclaimer, it says no product sold by Happy Hippo LLC or happyhippo.com is intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or mitigate any disease, illness, ailment, and or other conditions, which makes no representations to any medical use of this product sold. I'll wrap it up here in a second. It says, it also states on there that can expose to chemicals including nickel, arsenic, and lead that are known to the state of California to cause cancer in birth defects and reproductive systems. And last, I'll wrap it up. It says, Drug Administration of the FDA has not approved Kratom as a dietary supplement or for any medical use. And at this time, I'd like to yield my time to Representative Erin Bingham.
You'll state your name and who you represent. Time is yours.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you. My name is Erin Bingham. I represent Legislative District 32, which encompasses Bonneville County. Now, if the page, we have some handouts. If the page could please, if she could pass these out to everyone on the committee, I would appreciate that. I come before today to speak to you about Kratom. I've taken the time to meet with doctors, psychiatrists, law enforcement, coroners, rehabilitation providers, and family who have lost loved ones. Despite coming from very different perspectives, the message was consistent. Kratom has not been successfully regulated in other states, and it should be classified as a Schedule I drug. Here's some facts. Kratom industry growth is set to increase 17.2% annually from 2026 to 2032. The Food and Drug Administration and the National Institute of Drug Abuse has warned Kratom carries significant risks, including addiction, withdrawal symptoms, seizures, cardiovascular complications, liver toxicity, and overdose. 995 overdose deaths nationwide were reported in 2024 by the CDC. That is more than ketamine. Kratom is banned in Washington, D.C., and seven other states. Kansas will soon become the 8th. Cities all over the country have banned the sale as well. There have been 83 overdoses in Idaho since 2021. Bonneville County says Kratom was involved in 18% of their overdose deaths. In the last 18 months, Bonneville County has had 6 deaths directly related to Kratom. So I've provided a lot of material for your review, and I wanted to just briefly go over just a little bit. The first letter is from Dr. Matt Larson. He's a double board certified psychiatrist. He's worked in hospitals, residential treatment centers, the VA, detox units, and outpatient clinic. He says Kratom, both synthetic and naturally occurring, fits the criteria of a Schedule I drug and should be legally certified as such. He also goes on to say that it stimulates the mu opioid receptors similar to heroin, fentanyl, morphine, methadone, oxycodone, hydrocodone, and buprenorphine. Some of these opioids have well-researched material. The arguments in favor of Kratom apply equally to heroin. Kratom has been researched, but that research does not support leaving it unscheduled and unregulated. The research has not resulted in FDA approval at any level for the use of Kratom. Kratom use results in agitation, tachycardia, drowsiness, vomiting, serious effects, including seizures, withdrawal, hallucinations, respiratory depression, coma, and cardiac or respiratory arrest. Dr. Keller, another doctor of 24 years in the emergency room as an emergency room physician and 24 years providing medical care for inmates in the Idaho jail and the American College of Correctional Physicians, he says Kratom, whether whole leaf or extracts, is an opioid drug. Like all opioids, such as heroin or fentanyl, Kratom is addictive. I've seen it. I've treated it. People addicted to Kratom, like heroin and fentanyl, Kratom can be deadly, and many people have died. I've spoken in length to Senator Mike McKell out of Utah. So in 2019, Utah passed the Kratom Consumer Protection Act in 2019. He goes on to tell you the experience that they've had in Utah. They have not been able to regulate it. Their deaths have continued to increase. This year, he sponsored Senate Bill 45 adjustments made because they were unsuccessful. They were unsuccessful in being able to regulate Kratom in their state. So they have gone on to ban Kratom. They did not get a full ban, but they got a near ban, which the only thing that is allowed in Utah is whole leaf Kratom. Utah's industry shows that industry stakeholders may not provide a complete or accurate picture of the risks, particularly when those risks would affect their business model. So Utah has already gone down this road. I think it's important that we learn from history and learn from other states. I won't go through all those handouts, but I hope that you'll have the time to kind of look through them. We have statements from the Idaho Sheriff's Association, the chiefs of police, from the Fraternal Order of Police. We have a handout related to emergency room visits from rehab facilities and letters from individuals who have lost loved ones. Thank you for your time.
Committee, any questions for either one of the sponsors? Not seeing any. We do have a list of about 35 or 40 people who would like to testify. We're going to make sure everybody's limited to 2 minutes and see how far we get because we do have to be on the floor by 10:30. So first up is Luke Cassia, virtual.
The time. Oh, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a drug and alcohol treatment provider based out of Canyon County. In the last 2 years, we've seen a 225% increase in clients coming in due to kratom use disorder. Most of these guys did not know what they were getting into. This is marketed at convenience stores and dispensary type shops as a mood focus, energy enhancing type of thing. It's highly addictive. The withdrawal symptoms are very similar to heroin, fentanyl, and other opiate type drugs. We've treated people, just walking into a convenience store that pick this stuff up and they end up highly addicted. We're seeing people develop real dependency on these products. I've worked directly with many individuals trying to quit. The withdrawal is very severe. We have to treat it the same way that we treat heroin. The issue is that this is marketed as a harm reduction product. And that's just not the case. It's creating new addicts all throughout the valley. I'm on course this year already to see an even higher increase in patients coming in struggling from this. And I feel responsible to come and speak before the committee to make my voice heard, to let you guys know this is a lot more serious than the manufacturers and the people selling it would make it seem. I respect the intention behind harm reduction argument. I get that, but what's actually happening is not that. This is causing a lot of harm, creating a lot of new addicts. And we would really like to see the sale of this stop in the state of Idaho. So thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Next up is Andrea Jackson, in person. Please state your name and who you represent.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. My name is Andrea Jackson. I'm the president of Jackson Bevco. We have been in business for 35 years in Idaho. We have 63 stores in 4 states. We employ 350 people. I would like to share my experience with Kratom with you. My company has safely and responsibly sold Kratom for 15 years. During that time, I've never had a customer injury complaint on Kratom. I've never had a product quality complaint on Kratom. In 15 years, 63 stores. That's tens of thousands of Kratom customers. And I would like to tell you why. Because I only sell natural leaf Kratom. I only sell product from suppliers who process and pack in a controlled lab environment. I require all of my suppliers to provide testing results from a qualified lab, so I know what the package says is actually what's in the package. I require all my suppliers to provide proof of product liability insurance, so they not only have to satisfy my requests of safety, they have to satisfy their underwriters. I do not sell to minors, and I do not sell synthetic products or adulterated products like 7-OH. None of those things that my company does is required by law. It should be. Because Kratom helps people. Kratom needs to be regulated, not banned. We need to get the synthetic products off the market that have only been on the market for a few years. I'm not the only responsible retailer selling this product. There's lots of Idaho companies that have been here for decades. Collectively, we employ thousands with great jobs. We give millions in charitable giving. And those are companies that you've heard of, such as Jackson's Food Stores, Stein Distributing, Maverick, Capital Distributing, quality Idaho companies. If you ban Kratom, it doesn't go away. It goes to the black market. And I can assure you that you need to keep Kratom with legal, legitimate retailers, not the bad actors that are out there now, not the guys that are going to sell it out of their trunk. They don't care about the product quality. They don't care about how old their customers are. Idaho retailers, I have a 98% pass rate on keeping age-restricted items away from kids. And my competitors have a 94% rate. Kratom is legal. FDA has not moved against it.
If you could wrap up, I got a lot of people that
Okay.
want to testify.
I'm a lifetime Idahoan. I was born and raised in Homedale, and one of the things I'm fiercely proud about our state is that we recognize that responsible adults in our state should be left alone to make choices for themselves regarding the use of a legal product. So let's regulate kratom responsibly. Don't ban it. More than 20 states, including Wyoming, last week went to a regulatory bill. Thank you.
Committee, any questions? Representative Levitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. You said that you've been selling this for a little while. How long have you been selling this product for?
15 years.
15 years? Thank you.
Okay, next up is Crystal Prack, virtual.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the committee. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, state your name and who you represent. Time is yours.
Yeah, my name is Crystal Pyrak. I'm a family physician from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I am speaking on behalf of the Idaho Academy of Family Physicians and myself, a family doc who runs a program for pregnant women with substance use disorders. We support strong kratom legislation, but I just want to caution the committee on some unforeseen consequences. I'm going to start with a patient story. I do regular family medicine. I have a patient who is 80. She struggles with sleep. Her son picked up a kratom drink from a local convenience store to help her with sleep. I saw her 6 months later. Over that time, she had slowly increased to six kratom drinks per day. When I saw her, she was trying to stop, but was having severe side effects from withdrawal. We ultimately had to admit her to the hospital, detox her over a week, and start other medications to help her wean down off the opiates that she had become addicted to. When speaking with the son and my patient, they had no idea exactly what kratom was. The bottles weren't labeled. They thought it was safe because they were able to purchase it over the counter. I think this really highlights my concerns. However, I really want to encourage you to be cautious with a complete ban. Kratom is widely used in Idaho, and it's really accessible everywhere. I think if we have a sudden prohibition, there will be a lot of patients who experience withdrawal and potentially reach for more severe substances like fentanyl and cause other more serious substance abuse problems. It'll also create a black market where these products become more unsafe. I urge you to think about more mindful regulatory process and be cautious with a complete ban in the future. Thanks again for your working on kratom. It is a big issue in our state. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Egbert for a question.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. Thank you, Dr. Pyrak. Could you explain if kratom were added to a Schedule I substance, would providers be able to prescribe it then?
No, there's multiple degrees of scheduled substances out there. A Scheduled I is deemed harmful and not up for prescription. And so that would result in a complete ban in the state and no access for any Idahoans. And ultimately, that might be an answer in the future, but I think going from ubiquitous access to kind of a complete ban could really harm Idahoans in the process. So I think I would just support kind of a stepwise regulation process of clear labeling, education, age restrictions, content, kind of testing to make sure we know what's in it. And if we're still seeing problems with that, then maybe a complete ban in the future is the answer. But I'm anxious by the amount of patients I see using this regularly that we're going to push them onto things like fentanyl and other black market substances.
Thank you. Not seeing any other questions. Thank you for your testimony. Next up is Tyson Baker. Two minutes are yours.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, members of the committee. Ladies and gentlemen, we stand at a crossroads. One path, prohibition. A wall of bans, black markets, broken lives, because nothing thrives in the dark. The other, regulation. Clear rules, safety checks, guidelines, and taxes that fund this beautiful state. Prohibition doesn't kill demand, it just kills control. Regulation doesn't mean surrender. It means we stop pretending we can outlaw human nature. We've learned this before through alcohol, tobacco, and gambling. When we regulate, we protect. When we prohibit, we empower the worst of us. This bill isn't about indulgence. It's about reality. It's about choosing order over chaos. So let's not waste another generation on failed experiments. Safety isn't a barrier or burden. It's a foundation for longevity. Idaho doesn't need prohibition. Idaho needs a Kratom Consumer Protection Act. It doesn't outlaw Kratom. It safeguards it. Banning the culprit, synthetic 7-hydroxy, and other derivatives. Mandatory GMP standards of raw goods. Lab testing. Approved labels. Age limit restrictions. No shortcuts. Idaho now gets the opportunity to create a blueprint of a high standard KCPA for other states to follow. I ask the committee to back Idaho's lead. Let's turn from prohibition into regulation and protection, not red tape, not headlines. Thank you.
Committee, any questions? Not seeing any. Thank you for your testimony. Next up is Laura Romney in person. Please state your name, who you represent. Time is yours.
Yes, my name is Laura Romney. I'm representing myself. I'm an actual 14-year pain patient, and I've been taking Kratom daily for 9 years successfully. I have a severe facial nerve condition called trigeminal neuralgia that is absolutely debilitating. This morning I woke up at about an 8 level, and with the help of Kratom, I'm able to pull that down to a livable level and to be able to function and actually be here with you today. This is the difference it's caused in my life. I was able to actually come off of a very low dose of opioids that was not helping me enough because I just had so few. Now with the opioid crisis in full effect, people are just totally without options. Pain you cannot wish away. You absolutely cannot pretend like it's not real. And if you take away pain medicine, you take away, other options that are alternatives like Kratom, people will look for other substances because you just cannot live at that kind of level of pain. It's terrifying. This ban is terrifying to know that we could be without it. I literally mix up my powder, plain powder Kratom in this water. I shake it up and drink it. That's all I do. And for me to know that literally within a month or something, I could be a criminal for drinking this in the state and go to jail for just trying to control my pain, it's just not there. The one thing I've noticed is that when everyone was talking, not a lot has been said about the synthetic product. That is your big player. You heard about, the police saying it's been 2.5 years when they started having all this uptick. Guess how long it's been since 7-OH came into the market? 2.5 years ago. That's the problem. 7-OH is a full opioid. It actually can suppress breathing. It's been shown in animal studies that it does that, especially in combination with other things like alcohol and other substances. And in many cases, toxicology, they're not doing a full tox screen to see what's really in their system. So maybe those deaths that were talked about, they were actually polydrug use or 7-OH. So, 7-OH is it's literally in trace amounts in the actual plant. And they take this product and they make it into a product that's 14 times stronger than morphine. So again, I appreciate,
Yep.
Appreciate your letting me speak today and represent really all the thousands of patients that are saying the same thing as me.
Okay, thank you. Question, Representative Beiswinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Question, if you don't mind. Ms. Romney, thanks for coming in. I guess I got a lot of emails here telling us the same kind of stuff you're telling me. There's good use for it. People are really being helped by this. If it wasn't around, what do you think people would do if you're willing to say? What would be our alternatives?
Well,
Romney.
I've seen it. People literally, they'll go to the black market, they'll look for pain pills, and a lot of times those have fentanyl in them, which then increase death. The other thing is they sit in their houses and they don't leave. They have to quit their jobs. With me, I can't work. I can't function. I can't do anything without sufficient, you can't live at an 8-level pain. And for me to be able to pull this down, this does not take me down to a 0. I get to maybe a 3 or a 4. But you know what? You can function at a 3 or a 4. You can't at an 8. And so, yeah, again, there's a lot of people. But yes, the black market, I love what that physician said because she's right. People will seek for other things that are much more dangerous.
Representative Redmond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ms. Romney, for being here.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the 70H
Yeah.
product.
Correct.
Do you know what the difference between, I guess, the whole leaf kratom and the 70H for like that active pharmaceutical ingredient, whatever that opioid is? Do you know the difference in levels between the two?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ms. Romney.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the natural product, again, it's like literally in the actual leaf, there's no 7-OH in it. But as it dries, it starts to produce a little bit of that 7-OH, and that is what is in the natural product. So in regulated states, they say anything that is less than 1 milligram per serving or less than 2% is considered a plant. Because, plants all, they all have different, depending on which leaf you've pulled it from. So you can say, yeah, if it's under 2%, it's at the safe value. And the FDA even showed that. They did their own single ascending dose study that they gave a patient 24 capsules, well, a big study, up to 24 capsules in 5 minutes. And the only side effect was mild nausea.
Follow up?
And so I guess the
Oh,
difference.
the 7-OH, sorry.
Yeah.
No, the 7-OH, again, they take it. So if you look, I have a graph I can show you on my phone, but if you take it, it's like down to here, but if with the 7-OH, it's clear up here. So again, it is so potent. Here's an example I saw on a video. They said 4 little tablets, which you buy in a packet. They're little, that's why they're sold, is they're actually tablets, most of them. 4 tablets would be like consuming 9 kilograms of the powder. 4 tablets. That's it. That's the difference in the strength.
Follow up?
I guess one more follow up. So
Yeah.
I guess what I'm actually looking for is there any I guess direct science or studies on, I guess the makeup of that
Yeah.
7-OH, or is it just kind of? I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like it's a lot.
Okay, I understand what
but
you're saying.
Like more
yeah,
like
absolutely.
specific. I
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely. So that's the interesting thing, and this is why I only want clear play. I've never even tried 7-OH. Never would. Kratom has over 450 scientific peer-reviewed studies that show its safety. 7-OH, 0. In fact, the only study they tried to do, it was on a beagle study. You can look it up. They actually started, and the beagles had so many side effects that they had to restart the trial at a lower dose. That's it. There's been 0 trials, 0 safety study at all, and it actually even creates alkaloids that we don't even really know what they are. They use pool shock chemicals to be able to take that tiny amount in the natural plant, and they create that 7-OH tablet.
Representative Kaler.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Ms. Romney for coming out this morning.
Thanks.
So just to speak briefly to the substance that you take, is this just like a powder? Is this just ground up leaves?
That's all it is. Yep. You can even look in here. I didn't put water in it because I have to go to the airport in a little while for a family trip. But yeah, I'll show it to you.
Now, Matt,
It's just powder.
just a reminder to future testifiers that you go
Oh,
through the chair.
Okay. I have to go through
and,
security.
yeah,
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I know I'm not. This is not what I do all the time.
And no props. So just a reminder. Well, I know he asked, but you should tell him that no,
Yeah.
it's not
No,
allowed.
it's just a
Yeah,
leaf powder.
yeah.
It's just a leaf
Again,
powder.
yes.
Just for
Do you
follow-up.
have a question or just want to make a point?
Well, no, I did have a question there. And I
Okay, what
do
was
have
the
a
question?
follow-up. I wanted to know if the substance that she had was just a powder derived from the plant itself, or if there was other ingredients and such that's mixed in with it.
No, it's just
Again, ma'am, through the
Yes,
chair.
I'm sorry, Chairman. Yes, it's just a leaf. It's just the ground up powder from drying a leaf.
Okay. Committee, I don't see any other questions. Thank you for your testimony. Next up is Christopher Dodes, in person. Please state your name and who you represent. The 2 minutes are yours.
Thank you, Chairman and esteemed committee members. My name is Christopher Diotis. I'm from Meridian, Idaho. I'm the owner of an e-commerce Kratom brand, and I've been a Kratom consumer for 20 years. Kratom has been sold in Idaho for over 2 decades, and there's an estimated 24 million Kratom users in the United States. If 24 million Americans use Kratom, That means in a given year, there is easily over 1 billion servings of kratom consumed in the United States. And a lot of these individuals are using on a daily basis, like myself. There are hundreds of clinical studies that demonstrate the favorable safety profile of natural kratom. The FDA, the World Health Organization, Johns Hopkins School of Medicine, and the University of Florida's research funded by the National Institute on Drug Abuse has determined adverse events are very rare and fatalities are exceptionally rare. Natural kratom is a miracle in so many people's lives. For the committee's perspective, I wanted to quickly address those in attendance here today. Many people in this room are here because kratom has helped them or helped someone that they care about. If that is true for you, I'd politely ask you to quietly stand just so the committee can see how many lives are represented here.
Again, no demonstrations. Please stay seated.
We have tens of thousands of customer testimonials stating how kratom has changed people's lives. They can get out of bed. It's saved their marriage. They can work again. They don't have to be reliant on prescription medications, and they can be there for their family. If kratom is criminalized, not only will we be abandoning these mothers and fathers who use kratom, the chronic pain patients, the veterans, the disabled seniors, we will be incarcerating them. 20 states, including Wyoming 12 days ago, with Rhode Island reversing their kratom ban, have chosen to regulate kratom rather than banning it. This product helps so many people.
You could wrap up. I'd appreciate you.
I respectfully ask the committee to follow the science. The FDA and the majority of states regulate kratom and oppose House Bill 864. Thank you.
Committee, any questions? Representative Furman.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Christopher, who did you say you represented again?
I'm representing myself as a kratom consumer. My
Again,
e-commerce brand.
just a reminder for go through the chair.
I just feel.
Yes.
Chairman, thank you. I'm representing myself as a 20-year kratom consumer. My e-commerce brand is Happy Hippo.
Thank you.
Committee, not seeing any other questions. Next up is Grayson Abel. Please state your name and who you represent.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you to the committee. My name is Grayson Abel, and I'm a toxicologist with TRC. I appreciate the opportunity of being able to speak here today. I am a consultant who specializes in human health risk assessment. I've been studying kratom for the last 2 to 3 years. I'm also here on behalf of Dr. Dennis Postenbach, who is a toxicologist with over 40 years in the area. I've authored on kratom, and I've also presented posters on kratom at various national conferences. I'd also like to express my heartfelt condolences regarding the tragic passing of Ms. Keely Rastisi, and my thoughts are with her family on this matter. But as it regards to kratom in this case, I have significant concerns regarding the conclusion by the coroner that the metrogene toxicity that caused her death. I want to make it clear that kratom is not a novel substance. It has been used in Southeast Asian countries for centuries, possibly millennia, and the literature and the science in the United States alone goes back nearly 100 years. You are aware that Ms. Rastisi had a postmortem blood concentration of metrogene of about 3,100 nanograms per milliliter. As Dr. Boyer testified in the Senate committee, postmortem concentrations of metrogene are not sufficient to derive cause of death matters in these cases. As Dr. Boyer discussed, and I understand that you have his report in front of you right now, the coroner's report did not investigate her medical history, perform a histopathological assessment of her organs, do a detailed scene examination, which is essential to identifying the most likely cause of death. I want to make it clear that the FDA has recently released a study on the results of their study on kratom, saying that up to 12 grams of dosage per day, which is above what the typical casual user of kratom will be using in a day, found no adverse effects in persons other than transient nausea. And you should be aware that we have yet to identify a lethal dose of kratom in humans. Most deaths attributed to kratom are in patients with significant concomitant use of other substances, including alcohol, opioids such as fentanyl, barbiturates, pharmaceuticals, and over-the-counter drugs. To be clear, nobody has identified the amount of kratom that she took prior to her passing, and I will try and wrap up very shortly here. While she had 3,100 nanograms per milliliter in her system, and that sounds high, I want to make it aware that there is a study out of Malaysia that said that 9 volunteers who regularly use kratom had concentrations in their serum of over 22,000 nanograms per milliliter with no adverse effects.
If you could wrap it up.
I am not an MD, nor am I a PhD in toxicology, but I believe that based on the incomplete data available in Ms. Rostisi's death, I do not feel it is appropriate to go beyond what I've said here today, nor do I believe other professionals should. Thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate giving me the chance.
Committee, any questions? Representative Redmond.
Thank you, Mr. is it Abel?
Abel, thank you.
So I guess kind of the question I asked a little bit earlier. So we understand the difference between the whole leaf and the 7-OH. Can you give me what that ratio looks like for, what that active pharmaceutical ingredient, whatever that is? I guess it was alkaloids, maybe.
Yes.
What that looks like in comparison.
Mr. Abel again through the chair.
Apologies.
Yeah, if you could answer.
So, thank you very much for the question. So, just to go ahead and clarify, 7-hydroxymetrogene is a natural alkaloid of kratom. It is naturally present in the whole leaf kratom plant, but at extremely low concentrations. Depending on the plant, as we said, it could be anywhere below like 1% to basically non-detectable by modern analytical tests by what you're doing. The purified extracts form, I can't necessarily give you a good ratio of it because there's no standard regulation. Obviously, you could have weaker extracts, you could have stronger extracts, you could have extracts that simply have more more concentrations and ratios of 7-hydroxymetrogene relative to metrogenine. I cannot say exactly what it is because the nature of the extract means it could be like what the manufacturer is at that point. But the natural plant itself is extremely low concentrations.
Follow up?
Yeah, just to follow up. So I guess, again, what some of those other states have set is regulatory framework to actually be testing this and verifying some of that rather than, scheduling it. Is that correct?
Mr. Abel.
Yes, and to be clear, I'm completely, fully in support of regulations on kratom. I believe that regulations on alkaloid content, I believe that that criminalization of adulterating it with substances such as opioids, I believe that warning labels, discretions are all very much valuable. And I think that other states that have shown the path of regulating the concentrations of alkaloids in those extract products does show one of the examples of regulations that are valuable for this substance.
Not seeing any other questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Next up is Gina Rogers. Please state your name and who you represent.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Gina Rogers, and I am here from Rathdrum, Idaho. I respectfully ask for you to vote no on Bill 864. For many adults, including myself, plain leaf kratom has been a helpful, natural option in my wellness routine. I know many people, including close family and friends, and even elderly family members who use kratom safely. I am here because I'm concerned that an important distinction is being missed in this bill: the difference between plain leaf kratom and synthetic or chemically altered products like 7-hydroxymetrogenine, often called 7-OH. Plain leaf kratom is a natural botanical that has been used by adults in the United States for more than 2 decades. The primary alkaloid in plain leaf is metrogenine. While very small trace amounts of 7-OH can form naturally through oxidation, those levels are extremely low and not comparable to the highly concentrated or synthetic versions now being falsely marketed as kratom products. Those concentrated 7-OH products are not traditional kratom, and many of us in the kratom community share concerns about them as well. What should happen here is responsible regulation, not policies that treat all products the same. In 2018, a concentrated caffeine product was banned because 1 teaspoon contained about 25 cups of coffee. We did the right thing there, though. We didn't ban caffeine products, we banned the adulterated product. 20 states have already adopted regulations such as the Kratom Consumer Protection Act, which creates common sense safeguards like age restrictions, product testing, labeling requirements, and limits on adulterated or dangerously concentrated products. That approach protects consumers while still allowing responsible adults access to traditional leaf. Even FDA Commissioner McCary recently stated that the agency's focus is not on traditional kratom leaf, but synthetic and highly concentrated derivatives like 7-OH. Scientific research on kratom is also growing, including hundreds of studies, as well as the FDA's own dose-finding study and 2 8-factor analysis studies, which concluded that kratom does not meet the criteria for federal scheduling.
If you could wrap it up.
Yes, sir. I respectfully ask that Idaho focus on regulation through something like the Kratom Consumer Protection Act rather than banning a natural plant used by so many. If the goal is consumer safety, the answer isn't prohibition, it's responsible regulation.
Thank you. Committee, any questions? Not seeing any. Thank you for testifying.
Thank you.
Next up is Melanie Wolf, virtual.
A lot of the advocates and people that consume Kratom for their wellness routine, I take it for chronic pain. And there are about 75 million chronic pain patients in the United States. And there's an opioid crisis that no one is talking about. And that is the undertreatment of chronic pain. I spent February 17th through the 20th with regulators and scientists from every U.S. healthcare agency. None of them talked about a ban, not one of them. And that included our keynote speaker, director of NIDA, Dr. Nora Volko. She gave the same positive Kratom stance that she gave in her 2023 testimony at the U.S. congressional briefing, the same stance that she had read into the 2024 U.S. congressional briefing at which I testified. I was asked to testify as well. She gave that same stance to us at this symposium. And that tracks with the HHS and FDA because they asked me to speak from their platform in July this past summer as a daily 12-year consumer. They asked me to talk about the benefits of Kratom and to distinguish it from 7-OH, and which is very dangerous, and I would love to see that off of the shelves. In fact, I mentioned to them that I check on my local smoke shops. I make sure that they are doing everything safely, that it's locked up. I go in there and I purchase from my local smoke shops once in a while. I ask for Kratom. Several times I have been given 7-OH. So I really think that what we are having here is a 7-OH issue. At the press conference, the FDA commissioner could not have been clearer. They were not going after Kratom. And what Kratom has meant in my life is that I no longer need mobility aids. I spent the entire summer taking care of my granddaughter, taking her to all the local splash pads, and I took her to the Detroit Zoo,
if you could
the very
wrap up,
same
I would
zoo where
appreciate
my
it.
kids had to push me around in a wheelchair. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your testimony, committee. Any questions? Not seeing any. Thank you. Next up is Allie Mathis, virtual. I need to switch that turns off that mic. If you could state your name and who you represent, the 2 minutes are yours.
My name is Allie Mathis, and I'm representing myself. I'm 23 years old, and I live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I'm asking you to oppose Bill 864. I'm here to share my personal testimony on how natural Kratom has impacted my life. I was adopted from Guatemala, which means I do not have access to my biological family's medical records. Because of this, I had no way of knowing I was at risk for rheumatoid arthritis or taking preventative measures. When I was diagnosed a few years ago, I was already in a severe state that had already caused irreversible damage. Rheumatoid arthritis is a painful and sometimes completely debilitating autoimmune disease that can make even simple daily tasks difficult to impossible. Some days the inflammation and joint pain are so severe that getting out of bed, walking, or even holding objects is incredibly challenging. Over the years, I've been prescribed multiple medications to manage my pain, including opiate painkillers such as hydrocodone and oxycodone. These medications either did not work for me or came with significant side effects that made it nearly impossible to function normally. Natural Kratom has been different. It has helped me reduce my pain in a way that allows me to live a normal, functional, and productive life. It significantly helps me relieve the constant pain I endure every single day so that I can work, take care of myself, and participate in everyday life. For people like me, natural Kratom is a healthy and safe alternative. It is the only thing that has helped me manage my chronic pain when all other options and treatments have failed. If natural Kratom is banned, something that has greatly improved my quality of life will be taken away. I respectfully ask for you to consider the people like me in making this decision. Thank you for your time and listening to my story.
Thank you. Any questions? Not seeing any. Next up is Shanti Sanchez, also virtual. Please state your name and who you represent. Time is yours. You're muted right now. We can't hear you. There.
Is that better now?
Yep.
My name is Coroner Shante Sanchez, and I represent the Bonneville County Coroner's Office. I am also the lead investigator that was in charge of Miss Ristisi's death. I am a certified medical legal death investigator through the University of North Dakota, and I'm currently working through my ABMDI, which is nationally certified as a death investigator. I have been appointed the Bonneville County coroner for the last year, and one of the first things that I noticed was that there was a trend involving kratom. I kept an eye on this trend until finally I decided to do a press release in regards to potential dangers surrounding the product, because I am seeing an increase in fatalities related to kratom and kratom products and concentrations like the 7L. In regards to Ristisi's death investigation, we do a full, thorough death investigation that includes documenting the entire scene. We pull toxicology, we document and catalog all medication, pull medical records and review them. And I made the decision to, by national standards, send her to autopsy by a forensic pathologist that was able to review all of my documentation and my investigation and determine that her official cause of death was due to kratom intoxication, and they weigh all of these options. I have also been an investigator in a multitude of other kratom-related deaths, and I have wanted to see changes in how kratom is being regulated in our county. It is being regulated as a safe and natural alternative without people weighing the risks and odds of it. And I just want the community to be aware that there are consequences to overconsumption or regulation or lack of regulation of this product.
Hey, committee, any questions? Representative Levitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Sanchez. Do you know whether the harm that you've been describing involved natural or a product like natural kratom, or a product that has been altered or combined with other substances?
Ms. Sanchez.
So in regards to all of the kratom-related deaths, the only the substance that is in their system that would be a contributing factor has been kratom. There has been no other substances such as alcohol or illicit drugs. There have been prescription medications that were there to help regulate some of their medical history, such as seizure disorders. However, the kratom overall was made by the forensic pathologist as the official determination of the cause of death.
Representative Rebel.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ms. Coroner. I guess I didn't quite follow the answer to that one, because it sounds like it could be kratom, but I guess the question was it kratom plant matter, or was it kratom, distilled concentrate or 7-OH? So, but that wasn't my question, but I actually really would be curious to hearing the answer to that, if there was a way to distinguish whether the death was due to kratom plant or kratom some synthetic. But actually, I'm really trying to get to the bottom of this.
You want an answer to that question
Oh,
still?
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
Okay. Miss, I thought that was an end of a question. So, Ms. Sanchez, can you determine whether which product that was in the cause of death?
Yes, so in the kratom-related deaths that we have experienced here in Bonneville County, it has been through the pure kratom leaf. We do a full scene investigation and have found packages of the kratom product as a pure powder. I have not seen any of the 7-OH concentrations or any of the variations of kratom-like products. It has been the pure leaf powder.
Follow-up question or your second question?
Yes, my actual question.
Your actual
Following
question,
up on
okay.
Representative Levitz. Thank you. I am trying to just make sense of differing things I'm seeing on the horrible loss of Ms. Rusisi. And I'm wondering if you have seen this other analysis by a professor at Ohio State University regarding that autopsy, who took issue with the finding that the death was indeed due to kratom, and said because there was no kratom leaf found in her system that the ingestion was probably sometime, not proximate to the death, and that there were other factors. I wanted to give you an opportunity, and I'd like to make sense of these contrasting viewpoints. So I was wondering if you could want to respond to that, the fact that there was no kratom leaf found in her stomach, and help me resolve.
Ms. Sanchez.
So unfortunately, I haven't seen that particular document. I do know, like I said, that I am a certified medical legal death investigator, and that my forensic pathologists, which are nationally accredited by 2 different associations here in the Northwest, one of the only dual accredited facilities in the Northwest, have made that official determination. I do know that while we attended the autopsy, unfortunately, while we might not have found physical kratom leaves in her in her stomach contents, such as we did find that her organs had become distinguishably discolored, and had found some. We weigh what other medical issues she has. Like I said, I pulled all medical records. We did weigh her previous seizure disorders and everything with it. And I do urge people that do have medical histories in regards to things such as seizure disorders to really consider the effects that this could be having on it. Unfortunately, like I said, it's unregulated, and there's no disclaimers that are being placed on any of these products, which could lead to people who do have significant medical history not to realize that by indulging in this product, they might be actually making their medical conditions worse in other ways.
Okay. Representative Tanner.
Thank you, Chairman. Ms. Sanchez, thank you for your testimony. I'm concerned about the buildup of low-level consumption of kratom. And I'm wondering, in your experience, if you have seen people who have died from a condition, but where their condition might have been complicated by their kratom use, and could they have survived their condition if they did not have the kratom in their system?
Ms. Sanchez.
So just like with all opiate-like products, tolerance is definitely something to take into consideration, and prolonged use. Most people, of course, start out in small doses, and as their tolerance goes up, so does the amount that they consume. Products of kratom and concentrations, people are urged to only use maybe half of a bottle, but some are getting up towards 2-3 bottles in a sitting or throughout the day. So it's definitely